Hello friend, how are you? Welcome to Tripan Study Center. Today we are doing most important chapter of history. What is the topic today?
Challenge faced by the Sultan. What is the challenge faced the Sultan here? With the establishment of the Mughal Empire, the rule of Delhi Sultans come to an end. During more than 300 years of its rule, the Delhi Sultans went through the various ups and downs, but is survived as the political force. Where we like to be discussed their major challenge for the Sultan face here. Attack of Mongol and other. There is a most important here attack of Mongol and other. Some there is an inception, there is a major threat to be a sultan come in the form of Mongol inventions. Mongol where is a nomadic groups who is inhabited their steppes, northern China and the east of Lake Baikal. There is a force of nomadics and empire. Under the Genghis Khan in the 12th century, there is a most important period time from a 13th century as onward to the repeatedly is attack the Delhi Sultan. The Sultan, as a policy, appeased them to the also at the time is a conformated. The Balban and Alauddin Khalji is a confronted them with a fully military mind. During the Khalji as a time, the Mongol under Kutughl's Khwazas were able to design it to Delhi and causing a lot of damage. The last of significant attack of Mongol was by is a Syrians during the reigns of Muhammad Tughlaq. A lot of energy and resource of the Sultan were spent in the facing this invention, but they could not be destroyed the Sultan. Another important attack which shocked the foundation of Sultan was by the Timur in 1398. The bigness of the Delhi Sultan was a made event to the world by the Timur's invention of Delhi the 1398. Timur was a son of the chief of the Chatais branch of Turk. When to the invaded to the Indian, he was the master of almost whole of Central Asia. Timur as invaded into the India was up and drawings red and his the motives was to nationalize their wealth accumulated by the Sultan of Delhi over to last 200 years. Sultan Nasruddin was the is a wazir. Maluk is a vassal face of Timur, but there is defeated. Timur is the entire Delhi and there is stay for the 15 day only. There Timur entered Delhi, there is stay for the 15 days and in order to the generally is a masses and the large number of Hindus and Muslims including to women and children were to the murder. There is a most important for here of 15 days there is generally massive to a large number of Hindu and Muslim including women and children was a murder. Before leaving the India, Timur as invention indicated the is a downfall of Delhi Sultan. The Delhi is a Sultan the lost control over Punjab and Timur appointed to the Khizr Khan. There is a ruler of the Multan and who is a control to Punjab also. After the fall of Tughlaq, his dynasty is occupied to Delhi and become a ruler of Delhi Sultan. He headed to the foundation of Sayal Descentes. The next here is the inner conquest of the nobility. There is the most important here. A 300 year of Delhi Sultan is a witness 5 dynastic rulers is over 8. There is a most important period time. There is a main reason for the change of the ancestries of the deposits of rulers was the constant struggle between to the Sultan and nobility is the Umara. The soon is after death of the Ayawak and there is started to fighting over to the question of successions. And finally Itumis is emerged to the victories. And Itumis is a create a group of loyal nobles called the Turkan A Chilaigani. There is a 40. There is a 40 is the most important for the exam view. After the death of the Itumis, various factions of the group of 40 as a god are involved in their making their favorite son and daughter as the Sultan. In a 10 years, 5 Sultan were changed. There is a most important period time. in their year. 5 Sultan had changed after that. A Sultan who occupied to throne is a Nasruddin Muhammad. For 20 years, hardly is ruled and one of the powerful noble Balban was a de facto of Sultan. The same Balban is succeeded Nasruddin after the death. Almost similar is the event happened after the death of the each powerful Sultan, Balban, Alauddin Khalji, Firoz Shah Tughlaq, and other. Since there was no well defined law of the succession, each noble tried to the other. Crown is himself or support some of favorite. Hereof there is a death Sultan. Finally, Afghan replaced the Turks as a Sultan with their succession of the is a Baholo Lodi. Baholo Lodi is the most important. The next era for provisional kingdoms, there is the most important challenge here. Another consequence of this confest was the declaration of the independence by the various provisional is had in the regions. As a result, a number of independence is Afghan and the Turkish kingdoms emerged. The important one of such a state, whereas the Bengals is a Lakhwatis and Jaunpurs, Malwa, Gujarat, Bahamanis kingdoms is etc. The Kuwait is often this is a state where a war with the Sultan, and this whole process is a weekend. There is sultans here, and resistance by the Indian chiefs. There is the most important here. The sultans had to face the resistance from the Indian chiefs at the regular interval. The Rajput chief is the Rajputana, Mehwar, Ranthambore, and the Chitars as etc. The Varangals is a Devgiri, and there's a Malwa is a decline to the south. The king of Dhar, Malwas, and central India is a Jaganagar. In there is Orisha and the host of the smaller chieftains, and there is a constantly at a war even after successive defeated. All this struggle is a beacon the Sultan. The Delhi Sultan was a considerably is a beacon after the Khalji and Tughlaq resigned. Finally, there is invention of the Bahadur in AD is a 1526. Both it is to an end. Now a much more centralized and strong empire under to the Mughals established itself in India and ruled it for a further period of more than 200 years. We will discuss it it's in our next lesson on the Mughal rulers. The next is the most important chapter arrive. The Mughals rulers do not miss the watching. But before moving to be a Mughals, we provides you a brief account of the provisional kingdom. The next year, a rising of the provisional kingdom. You have a read that is a process of degradations of the Delhi Sultan and had started to the degradation of design of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Muhammad bin Tughlaq is the most important. However, the Firoz Shah Tughlaq tried to control the situation but failed. During this period, some of the provisional ruler is declared they are independent from the rules of Sultanate. They are most important. The next here is the Jaunpur. There is the most important here stay. There is Jaunpur was is a provision in the eastern part of Delhi Sultan of Malik. Malik Sarwari was the governor of the Jaunpur. Soon he became the ruler of the Kanju, Khanzus, Khara and Dawad, Sandel and the Damalu is a Baruchis and Vihar and Tirut. So the Malik is a Sarwari did not be assumed their title of Sultan. There is a most important here Malik here. And but they led down to the foundation of the Sharik densities. There is the most important here. But after the death of Malik, Sarwar is the AD is a 1399. His adopted sons Malik is a Karampur. They succeeded their throne. There is the assumed their title of Mubarak Shah, and thus was the first ruler of the square density. There is a Mubarak Shah was the ruler of the Jaunpur density, and during this time is a Muhammad Tughlaq, the Sultan of Delhi, was the puppet in the hand of is a Maulus Iqbal. Maulus Iqbal is undertook on the expedition to the recover is a Jaunpur, but is a fail. One is a Mubarak Shah is a death in the AD 1402. His younger brother Ibrahim ascended there is a throne and he ruled for the 34 years. During the Ibrahim, as a design to the relation between Delhi and Jaunpur become a warriors, Ibrahim was the greatest ruler of the Sharik century. Under the warm, Jaunpur has become an important center of learning. The under is the him, Jaunpur is involved to the district's architectures and which is known as the Shadik's style of the architectures. And the most infamous there is a buildings was the Atla Masjid at a Jaunpur. And the Ibrahim's successor is a Muhammad conquered there is a fort of the Chunar. And he also tried to the conquerors is a Kapil but is a fail. He is awarded to Delhi but was defeated by the Behbols Lodi. Lodi is after there is a Muhammad is a Jaunpur versus the ruler of Muhammad Shah and Hussain Shah. The Hussain Shah is died in AD 1500 and with there is him indeed to the Shardik dynasty. They are most important here. The next year is the Kashmir. The Kashmir is also important. Is the Samahuddin Shah. Shamsuddin Shah is a AD 1339 was the first Muslim ruler of Kashmir. In the AD 13,089, the Sikandar is ascending there is throne. He was the powerful and despotic rulers. And Sikandar died in the AD 1416 and his son Ali Shah ascended his throne. And after some years of brothers is a Shah Khan ascended there is a throne under to the title of Zainul Abidin. And the Zainul Abidin was the liberals and the Illuminatist ruler. To succeed of support all their groups. He is called back all such as a group who has been to the vanished by the Sikandar. His obelisk is a Jaija and the prohibited is a cow slaughter. And there is a Janzul is Aberdeen's paid a great attention toward their economical growth of Kashmir. He himself was a great scholar of the Persian, that is Sanskrit, Tibetan and Kashmiri language. He is ordered to the translation of the Mahabharata and Rashtrangani, history of Kashmir into the Persian. There is a most important here translation on this period. Zainul Abidin is a sensation is a provided a big ruler. Is a taking advantage of the weakness is a measures hazards and related to the Bahabur is a conqueror to the Kashmir. In AD 1586 is a Kashmir was the annexed by the Akbar and become part of a Mughal empire. There is our next chapter. The next year is a Malwa. There is a Malwa was the southwestern provision of Delhi Sultan. It was a is a consequence by the Sultan Alauddin in the AD 1310 and the remanded the part of Delhi Sultan till the death of the Firoz Tughlaq. And Dilwara Khan is the chair of there is a allegiance to Delhi in the AD 1401. After the invention of the Temur, he did not be take their royal title of their Sultan. After death of the Dilwara Khan in AD 1405, his son Allah Khan ascended their throne. There is acquired the title of the Hosus Kang Sa. He made a Mandus his the capital. The Hindis Mahal is a Jama Masjid is Jahaz Mahal and the example of the Mandu architectures. And there are most important here. And the Hosan size was succeeded by the Ghazi Khan and who was deposed by the minister is a Ahmad Khan Khalji in AD 1436 and the Muhammad assumed their title of Shah and later there is the foundation of the Khalji dynasty of the Malwa. Under the is a Muhammad Khalji, the Malwa is become stronger and propelled their kingdoms. He was generally king. According to the Faristo, he was the political elder and the learned person. Muhammad Khalji was of followed by the Gyanuddins and there is another Deans. Muhammad is second is ascended their throne to the Malwa in the AD 1500 is 10. He is called to the Madin and Rai is the powerful Rajput. The Kras is the Isdailos as the nobles and appointed him is the prime minister. There is a predominance of the Rajput at the court and create the jealousies among to the Muslims novel. The Sultan of Gujarat defected to Malwa and the ancient Malwa to Gujarat. The next state here, Gujarat. The Gujarat is the most important this time. The Gujarat has a way to the attack there is a border due to the its geographically location and there is a facilities, fertility and Sultan is Ahmadun Khalji was the first. Is Alauddin Khalji was the first Sultan who is an exit to the Gujarat to Delhi as a Sultan. Then there is a reminder to under the Turkish governor. At the time of Timur's invasion, Zafar Khan was the governor of this province and he is seven of the Alajanics of Delhi Sultan. In AD 1410, he became to the independent ruler of Gujarat. The most is the famous of Gujarat ruler was the Ahmad Shah as AD 1411 to the 1441. To extend his kingdom, he restricted to the Rajput state. Ahmad Shah founded to the city of the Ahmedabad after the death of his Ahmad Shah in AD 1441. His eldest son Muhammad Shah is ascended the throne. There was a known as a Jar Vaksh. He was killed by the conspirators in the AD 1451. Muhammad Shah was followed by two weak rulers, noble rise to the Fateh Khan and grandson of the Ahmad Shah to be thrown. He is the ruled as Ahmad is a Muhammad was the West is the ruler of the century and the ruler for the 52 years. Is a Muhammad died in AD 1511. He was the following by the number of ruler who had is very design. In AD 1572 is Akbar conquered to Gujarat and annexed it is the Mughal Empire. The next is the most important state here, Bengal. The Bengal was easternmost is the provinces of Delhi Sultan. Lack of properties is a means of transportation and is a communication create a difficulty in controlling these provinces. And through there is a Bengal was an exit to be Delhi Sultan. A number of time it is again it is independence. That is the most important time. Number of time is again an independent. During the last is declared of the 12th century AD, Muhammad bin is a Vakshitiyar is assumed to the Bengal to the conquer to the territories of Muhammad Gauri. But after his death, he is the successor declared there is independent with the support of the local people. The Balban force of Bengal to be accepted to the subsequently of there is a Delhi and appointment their son is a Bukhara Khan as it is a governor. Bukhara Khan it is a governor of Bengal but is the after the Balban as a death he is declared is over independent. Gyanauddin Tughlaq tried to solve the problem but is the patroning the Bengal into three independent administrative divisions as namely Lakshman Nautis, Satyagan and is the son Garon. There is a most important here divided by three part. Muhammad bin Tughlaq tried to declare the supremacy of Delhi Sultan, but when he was the busy and the surprising to the is rebellion in their other part of Sultan Bengal, cut off it is a connection with the Delhi. Haji evolves as a noble invited to Bengal and become its ruler under the title of Shamus ud Deens Ilazis Shah. To counter his increasing influence of the Hajis, Ilazis is a further the Shah Tughlaq awarded to the Bengal but did not meet with the success. And he had to be signed a treaty with the Ilazir. According to the state of the river of Koshi, was accepted was the boundary lives there between two kingdoms. Is a houses Ilazis die in the AD 1357, and there is the most important time period. Is a son is a Sikandar is succeed the throne when they are doing this is a resign. Firoz Shah Tughlaq against tried to the next to the Bengal but failed. After the death of Sikandar, the Gyanuddin's Azam is ascended their throne, and there is a maintenance of friendly relation with the king of China, which led to be rise of foreign for against trade. This time is the Nasruddin's is the grandson of the Hazis Elias was the ruler of the Bengal. He is a peacefully ruled from the 17 years. During the reign of the Alauddin Hussain Shah, There Alauddin Hussain Shah is Bengal become a rich and prosperous there. When his the death is AD 1518, his son Nasib Khan, there is a throne is under the title of Nasir Uddin is a Nusrat Shah. In AD 1539, Sher Shah Suri defeated to the Gauzuddin Muhammad Shah and made Bengal a part of his empire.